They chasing the motherfucker around in the Afghanistan caves for 5 years. That's on a goddamn dialysis machine.
Uh,
Okay, now listen. Now they expect us to believe this story.
right.
They expect us to believe this. He's walking around in the caves with a portable dialysis machine.
Facts.
A portable dialysis machine is like dragging a whole stove around with you.
Real talk.
People not paying that no attention.
And then, like, shit, that nigga was a billionaire. Like, you feel, not a millionaire, a billionaire. His family was rich and everything.
If you go back and do the research, the Bush family and the Bin Laden family has been in the oil business together since the 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bin Laden family, Osama Bin Laden was the boogeyman that they wanted everybody to look to when they was robbing us.
Right. Try to put it off on him.
Right. See, the corporation ended in 1999, but didn't nobody have the jurisdiction to process it. Because didn't nobody organize the chiefs on the land by public notice until I did it. That's why it was so important to learn civics, to understand how to do public notices and shit, so that you know how the oral tradition override they written shit. Because the oral tradition is our agreements on the land is how we practice our law.
Right.
Right. So my clan, we follow the laws set forth by Larry Hoover and them back in the day. Right. So now they gave us a written code to follow. But our written code has nothing to do with the government. It's tribal. Whereas on the West Coast, they got an oral tradition. The OGs have to clear it before the YGs engage in the activity.
Right.
Now, I have to be in tune with the Crips, just like I'm in tune with the folks in Chicago, to understand how the tribes are communicating so we can get the message through all the tribal networks. We're on the same page now. Time to get the imposters out.
Right. And I'll be seeing that shit in the West Coast and in the East Coast, even down south, you feel me, about, GDs, Bloods and Crips, you feel me, peace treaties, and that shit actually working. But in Chicago, it ain't gonna never be no, like, it ain't gonna never be no peace amongst like the GDs and the BDs. It ain't like, it's different in Chicago, but it's like everywhere else they can come together.
It will be.
It will be. So, bro.
It will be.
Unfortunately,
but
Chicago got a dark cloud over it, and that's
right.
like that's.
But
like
when they find out who behind the cause in the war, it ain't even us.
Exactly, it ain't. But it's like, you're right. It ain't us, but it's like, it's levels of hell. You feel me? Just like it's hierarchies of hell, like hierarchies of demons, different ranks of angels. You got different levels of hell. This earth is a fucking hell. You feel me? This continent is a different level of hell. The states now.
I think this shit heaven.
The city of Chicago, that's like the lower levels of hell, G. Like, for real. And it's not because of us, like you said. It's because the devils that created the cities, which is a Babylon. You feel me?
They took over the cities. They didn't create them. Those are metropolises that's ancient. They just altered. They just altered the way that we did business on the land.
So, from my understanding, that's why I call it Babylon, because of Babylon is the cities that were built after colonization. So, like, you got
you ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with that. But Babylon fell.
Babylon, man, bro. I don't think Babylon fell as long as the city's being built. You have city owners. You have. I really pay it. I don't really be like, nah. I'll be I'll be behind on a lot of shit, bro.
The banks is closing. The hospitals are shutting down their electronics that affects the equipment and the IT shit. Right? You got a motherfucking receding tide that been out for goddamn 3 days in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that now.
Mm-hmm.
That shit got to come back. The longer it's out, the worse it's gonna be when it returns. Because the water got to go somewhere. It ain't just disappeared.
It do. I would say like, okay, so like you got colonizers. Colonizers come to foreign lands, and then you have people, natural people that's live inside of those lands that take care of nature. The colonizers come through, they tear down nature, and then build their cities up. North America, this continent was a forest. We had forests and woods over here. We didn't have jungles. You feel me?
Look,
But it was all nature. The colonizer come through, tear down nature, and build their cities up. Along with their cities, they bring systems, which is religion, slave system, which is the modern day work system. They bring all nationality because the colonizers put nationality on not you already know, bro. Put nationalities on our indigenous ancestors, but this is what I'm saying. Like Babylon is anything that's not dealing with the natural people and in the natural order of life. There's no way we should be working jobs. There's no way there's only 13 families that hold all the wealth, and we have poor people. Like mental illness don't exist in nature. Like indigenous people don't have mental illness problems. Poverty don't exist in nature. You feel me? You know, there may be a class ranking system, but it's like I'm talking about the indigenous people that's the closest to nature. You know how close they is to nature if they don't speak in language and they still speaking in sounds and clicks. These are like natural people. They will be the closest to Big Mama, if anything. So it's like since we got cities that's built, you feel me, and we have city owner. A city owner is a Nimrod. You want to become a
we
city owner?
just took the look. All of those charters have been rescinded because they was fraudulent to begin with. They was predicated up on a constructed fraud. The
Okay,
argument of we the people, the indigenous tribes across the land, according to the Iroquois Constitution and the birthright to the land. Because they never validated none of their contracts, they never upheld any of their treaties, non-performance closed them out.
exactly.
Now, right now, what we looking at, all of the banks folding up, Wall Street about to crash, the belly about to fall out of the fraudulent ass mortgage market. Now the people got to be protected.
Hey, hold
That's
on. You can't skim past that. You gotta backtrack. You say the fraudulent ass mortgage scams. That's a fact because it takes 30 days to build a house that we gotta pay a mortgage on for 30 years. If that ain't the biggest scam, like this shit, this shit crazy.
look.
It takes
This
30
is
days
what
to
you don't
build a
know about the
apartment.
mortgage. This is where the fraud came in. When you go in to get a mortgage, you're not getting a mortgage on the house. You sign a piece of paper at closing. The house is paid for with your signature. When you took the signature out and paid off the house with your signature,
Mm-hmm.
according to the bankruptcy, it automatically gave you possession of the house right then and there. But here's what happened. They gave you another piece of paper where you agreed to pay if they take out a loan in your name for the value of the house. So they make you pay their loan back with interest to them, and they get all of that scot free.
Hey, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a fucking scam if it ain't. Hey, they clever as fuck, Joe. That's why I'm saying like these hey, it's deep, man. Make it
All of it with frauds. This is
make,
what it's already been proven.
yeah.
And this what I'm telling you. Now we're seeing the manifestation of the chiefs across the land calling the markets in, basically.
Mm,
You see how the Pope called all the Vatican money back?
mm-hmm.
We called back all of the contracts they be foughting on, put the organic people, even though we didn't sign them. They alleged we signed them. So
Mm,
because they never performed their part of the treaty, because we wasn't never supposed to figure out we was already here.
right.
So they never honored any of the treaties.
Right,
So the
exactly.
non-performance gave us the right to serve the eviction to close the de facto corporation that was an interim government established under George Washington with the Crown of England, um, in order to establish a interim government until we was able to restore the land after the war. But nobody never told us. They kept that shit a secret. And then
Right.
they took a move. They took the move with telling us we was from Africa. They told us we wasn't POWs, that we were
Mm-hmm.
slaves.
Exactly.
right? So now we thinking that we got to tie to Africa, but the people over in Africa say, "What the fuck you talking about? You from over there?"
Right. Exactly.
So when Garvey came along with the Pan Africanism and make us make these what we call confraternity allegiances.
Mm.
This is forming bonds and connection by speaking to people all around the world. Instead of just speaking to the people here, just telling us bald-faced lies like we came over on slave ships.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else thinking Pan-Africanism is saying we all came from Africa. That's bullshit.
They don't even know who the pan god was. You feel me?
Well,
And that's a whole
in,
nother
in the
topic.
in the political lingo, Pan-Africanism or pan anything before political idea mean that it's an idea that covers the globe. And it's short for Pangea when the world was one.
You ever heard of the god, the ancient god Pan?
Yeah, the
Pan,
flute god with the horn flute god with the goat legs.
the devil. You feel me? The devil. This should be crazy, Joe. But hey, Mr. Make It Rain, marhaban. That's my Muslim brother. Marhaban bika. So what's the
Yeah, because I'm like, really? I thought you had just retired on us. I thought it was time. You know how you be like when Big Mama tell you it's time.
Oh, no. I stay popping up somewhere else.
Right, right. That's that real Tahuti. You know, Thoth was known by many names. As soon as they shut down one, or they got too hot. Now he heard me strike some gets this or what? You know what I'm saying? But but nah, I appreciate you coming on tonight, especially just everything. On a personal note, just as much the information that you put out. I remember the first time I ran into you. Well, you know, I just circle on that, and then we can dive into some of the topics for the night. But first time I ran into you, and I was like reading the caption. The caption had me like a little mystified, you know, because you was talking about knocks and flipbacks, and you know, and I know you can go into a higher realm when you know you talking your code.
Yeah.
But I just something spiritually was like, yo, he's saying something. Now I think my subconscious was catching it, but my mental was like, I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds like something I need to tap into.
There's actually all of those flips is the language of the subconscious mind.
Okay.
So the way that the subconscious mind put information together, if you know how the mind operate, that's where you get the flips from. The connections made in the synapses in the brain identified in the public. So it might say mirror this, flip that, knock to a knockback, right? So you know if it's a knock, that means that somebody's tuning in psychically trying to get your attention.
Mm.
The knockback, they could be answering something that you put out in the public domain, and they answering it on the psychic channel. We call it the wind talker channel.
So that could be team or whatever, or even somebody talking to you telepathically.
Yeah. So it got to let you know who it is. So when you give a knock, you know who you calling.
Right.
So when you get a knockback, they'll send identifiers. Right. So let's say if Big Tookie's sending me a knock, I might wake up and the first thing I see on my phone is somebody sea walking. Scroll down 3 posts later and somebody's sharing a lightning post with me. Right. It's Crooked Man walking. Right. Then whatever follow is the message he's trying to get across. So he might want me to see something that Angel Bay wanted him to tell me. So he'll say, mirror me, and then he'll flip a Chicago reference and a red 44 reference. So when he say mirror me, he's saying, watch me tell you what Angel Bay saying.
So it always comes back in that. And it could even come back from what I've been seeing also is just like through animals.
Yeah, like so if you out, let's say I'm out walking, I can tell whether it's an eagle, a hawk, or a falcon. Falcons are rare in the States. Normally you got hawks and eagles over here. You got falcons in the Far East more than you have them over here, but you have a few over here.
Right, especially down here in Georgia.
Yeah, right. But they're almost the same, falcons and hawks. Right, so I can identify them by the way that they flap their wings when they're flying. So if I see an eagle, that's a big chief. If I see a a hawk, right? That's a chief, a regular chief. If I see the falcon, that's a rare chief, somebody who only incarnates every now and then, because there's not a lot of them over here. So when I'm looking up at the birds, then I look at the lesser birds. If it's a flock of crows, that's a murder of crows. That means somebody about to get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's by the order of the big chief, because it was an eagle overhead.
Mm.
So the big chief sent a murder of crows to go murder a crow.
Damn, so it's so crazy how you can just use that to break down exactly what you're going through or what the message is now, just based on what you're seeing in your now time, like in your present time. Because
everything has a meaning. The more
I'll go outside and spend some time outside, and these two hawks will appear overhead every time, like I'm going through something, or two hawks will be overhead, just giving me that symbolism that I'm about to receive a message, or I'm being taken and watched over. You know,
right. So if when you see two hawks together, that's two chiefs talking to you. They don't always have to be men though. You gotta remember that part. One, it could be your parents sending you a spirit message.
Mm.
When my father flipped messages now, he flipped cardinals because he on the other side. When my mama flipped messages, it depends on where she's flipping them at. Yeah. My mama would talk right to me.
You said she talked straight to you?
Yeah, I can hear it like I'm sitting in her bedroom talking to her. I could talk to her that clear.
The direct messages.
Yeah. So she'd be like, okay, now get up. I need to, just like she would in real life. And we're in the 3D. She'd be like, I need you to get up. I need you to go do this. Don't ask no questions. That means that it's important to the ninth power.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely important when she say don't ask no questions. So now I got to listen. And based on the instructions she give me, I'm going to know why she told me to do it. And my mom ain't never told me to do nothing wrong. So when she tell me to do something, don't ask no questions, I know that it's urgent and it ain't nothing wrong, but it's something that got to be done.
True. Okay, then speaking on that, getting that direct message back. So, for instance, like when you get to the point where either through your spiritual practices, whether it be meditation, praying, or whatever, and you're getting like direct answers back, how do you decipher what?
That's where the man know thyself come in.
Mm.
When you establish your internal dialogue, you're gonna recognize your voice from all of the other sounds you hear in your head. That's not you. That's getting to know yourself. Once you know your voice in your head, any voice that doesn't sound like you, or any line of reason that doesn't feel right or sound like you, question it. Who are you? Where did you come from? And what do you want? Are you trying to deceive me? In the law of the universe, from your God position, if you're standing on your authority, they have to answer in truth. They can't lie to you.
Mm.
And most of the time, we're going to find out we had an ancestor with a bad habit that want us to indulge in the bad habit. And we have to fight him. And we need to tell him and confront him, no, I'm not going to carry on the alcoholic gene in the family. I'm not going to be the recipient of that, nor am I going to be the casual facilitator of you to pass that energy behind me. That's called cleaning up the family tree. When you do that, all of your crossed over elders, your ancestors, is telling them from the other side, now you heard it. Go sit your punk ass down before we turn him loose on you. Right? And then it'll play out in your real life as an upgrade in your status among the family because you just took a critical toxic element out of the family tree.
Yo, that's right now for me because I'm noticing it. You know, like just being on the different sides of like actually healing from trauma and spending time with myself and dealing with certain things. But this recent time, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been smoking my ass off. Like. Just running from actually dealing with it, but I know for a fact this is.
Well, you know you're not running from dealing with it because you're building up your endocannabinoid system. That's your spirit body.
All right, let's get into it. Okay.
So the endocannabinoid system feed to all of the receptors throughout the different parts of your body. It's your spirit body.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have natural THC receptors in the body, and you also produce THC in small quantities in the body. The heavier your melanin is, the higher your THC contact tint is, without you ever being indulging in smoking THC, just naturally, right? And that's because your concentration of melanin is extremely high, and that's the side effect. They twins. If you get Dr. Carol Byrne, Melanin, the Chemical Keys to Black Greatness, it shows you the comparative analysis between the THC and the melanin cell. But the THC, once received on the receptors, is used for you to fight, for you to, okay, so you know when you first start smoking, you sleepy all the time.
Right.
Your spirit body weak.
Mm.
When you first start working out, what you do? Sleep all the time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right, because you wear your body out.
Right.
Once you get the immunity to the THC, your spirit body gets strong, you start to begin to translate the psychic influences in your life and see the signs. That's why they villainized marijuana, just to make it illegal, so that me and you won't never be smoking blunts, looking at their ass, seeing straight through them. Just weightlifting. THC is weightlifting for the spirit body.